Forms. Welcome to our Tuesday. It's today Tuesday, May 13th. Car shopping mistakes live show. We do these shows Monday through Thursday. Um, I spilled something on my clothes, so I'm a little late today, but normally we're 12 p.m. noon till about 1:30. We're usually on for about an hour and a half. And my name is Deshone. I'm known as Deshone the Auto Advisor. And what I do is make sure that you know the expensive mistakes that 99% of car buyers are out here making every day. It's costing you thousands and thousands of dollars. And you know, we'll no questions off limits. I spent 14 years in the auto industry. So now that I have spent the last 4 years educating the public, I have a digital book that's 5-star rated. I'm known for teaching people things that they haven't heard before, and I just want to prepare you. A lot of the stuff you're going to hear over the next couple minutes is bad news because, frankly, you've been taught to shop for cars the wrong way. You've been taught to shop for cars in a way that benefits the dealership, that guarantees buyer's remorse, and the way we know that is when you leave a dealership. Do you have a guarantee that you got the best offer? Like when you buy other things in life, you pretty much know when you buy a TV. You did the research. You don't leave, even when you buy a house, you pretty much know through comparable sales, all right, this price I paid for this house, market value or whatever. Cars, you just leave and you're hoping. It's a hope strategy. And most times when we dig in here, what you'll see is you have overpaid. We have, but the good news is we can change all of that. So we have helped thousands of people throughout the years. Many of them you'll see on my pages. Right now we're live on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So you'll see them on my pages because I'm big on just sharing your results. It's not about me at this point. It's about, can you do the things that will make sure every single lease you get is a below market lease. Every single purchase, new car, is a below market purchase. Every single used car is a below market used car. That's where you want to be at. And that's where a lot of people are before you. So I got my man Dolan moderating in the background. You can start to type your questions. No questions off limits. Who's car shopping now, or you will be in the next 6 months? Type me in the comments. If you're car shopping now, or you will be in the next 6 months, type me in the comments. Let us know. While you do that, I'm going to hop on Instagram so I can see the comments over here. Good to see you, Gigi. Great to see you. And let me just share this broadcast. Shout out to the sharers. I see anyone who is a sharer. I appreciate you. You hit that arrow or that paper plane and share this with one friend. And here's what I guarantee you. No one will ever get mad at you for sharing my page with them. I guarantee you, we don't tell jokes here. We don't dance. We're not here to waste time. What we're here to talk about over the next 60 to 90 minutes is thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm not inviting you to spend some time with me on a Tuesday to talk about hundreds per month. That's what we'll be talking about. But this is thousands of dollars in conversations that we're going to have. So shout out to the sharers. All right, looking for a Mercedes or a Genesis. Okay, how many years are you going to keep it, Gigi? How many years are you going to keep it? This is what we call in step one. We have in Cars from Home, we teach a 7-step process. We don't wing anything. So step one is something we call the most important question. How many years are you going to keep your next car? So everybody who's shopping, answer that question first. Everybody who said me, I'm shopping, or I will be shopping, answer that question. Let me know how many years will you be keeping the next car? Okay, Gigi said 3. Perfect. Okay, I've been listening. All right, wonderful. Now, what you want to consider now is if you're shopping, and you're not keeping for more than 8 years, we want to shop for a below market lease, because a below market lease is going to make sure the least amount of money comes out of your household over the next 3 to 5 years, actually over the next 8 years. So if you were to purchase, you're going to, there's only 3 ways to acquire a vehicle. You're going to buy it brand new, you're going to buy a pre-owned version of it, or you're going to lease it, which is also brand new. So buying is expensive. So let's take the price of a Genesis. What is the Genesis, Gigi? Maybe about 50,000, 55,000, something like that. How much is the Genesis that you're going to be shopping for? Because we just actually helped the client get a Genesis. So I've been watching Genesis deals for the last 30 days. I've had actually 2 people. One person got a GB70, one person got a GB80. So yeah, that's the GB80 deal right there. And then we had another person that I shared on the show. He got a 2026 Genesis because he wanted the new version. So let me know, what's the MSRP of that car that you're looking for? What's going on, Trader Don? Got the #1 gifted badge on TikTok. Appreciate you. What's up, Haas? What's going on, Nancy Garcia? Good to see you, Tessie. Great to see you. Enigma joining on TikTok. Great to see you. All right, GB70, $52,200. Perfect. So when we consider that, let's break this down now, because this is great. What we're going to do is we're going to compare right here, buying versus leasing versus buying new versus leasing new versus buying pre-owned on this same vehicle. So we can just see the cost flat out. So the car that Gigi is shopping for is a $52,000 vehicle. Now, how much is every $5,000 on a car loan? Let's see who's been following, because some of you have. Good to see you, DJ Ant Nice got the #1 gifted badge on TikTok. Thank you so much. How much is every $5,000 on a car loan? Oh, perfect. And the Mercedes you're shopping for is about the same price. They're only about a $3,000 difference. So that's okay, Chris Bradley. If you're considering leasing, we're going to help you make that decision right now, because it's a very black and white issue for us. That's why we created the 8-year rule. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is the question I asked Gigi, which is, how many years are you keeping the next car? The 8-year rule says if less than 8, then you should be shopping for a below market lease. And I'm going to walk you through, I'm walking Gigi through, and everyone else, you'll be able to walk through this scenario of how we shop for leases, purchases, new cars, used cars, to compare pricing. All right, Jamel. Thank you, Jamel. Good to see you on YouTube checking in. So good to see the regular people checking in. Great to see, always a pleasure. Now I want y'all to bring a friend, because if you're regular here, you got to bring 2 friends or something before you got to bring a friend. All right, so now 52,000, as we said, we default when you're estimating your payments on a finance, you want to default to a 5-year loan. Now, you can go as long as 6, depending on how old the car is you're buying. But when you go older than that, you're putting yourself in a position of it's desperation. If you got to take a 7-year loan on a car, you can't afford that car. So now let's assume this $52,000 Genesis that Gigi's going to get. He gets a ridiculous deal on it. He uses our system, he gets multiple offers from home. And let's say somebody takes off $8,000 for him. Let's be generous here, because I want you guys to see that even when we're being conservative and generous, if you purchase when you should have leased, more money is coming out of your household than what could have. Okay? So now let's say he gets $8,000 off his $53,000 Genesis. Now we put our taxes and fees on top of that. Taxes on that, let's say, is another $3,000. Let's say there's another $1,000 in fees. So let's say that puts him right around 50. What's his car payment? So he gets $8,000 off, gets a phenomenal deal. Then with his taxes and fees, it goes back up to 50. He gets the car for 45. Slam dunk deal, $8,000 off. Taxes and fees go back on. He gets it for $1,000. For $50,000. What's his car payment if every $5,000 is $100 per month? We got somebody on here that could do some quick math. That's a calculator. All right, I'll tell you. It's $1,000. Thank you, Gigi. $1,000. So when we see who saw the video all on social media, they go viral. The average car payment is over $1,000. Who's seen these videos? You've seen them. We can see why it's easy to get $1,000 car payment. So if he buys the vehicle, now I just told y'all, that's a phenomenal deal. Somebody takes off $8,000. He leaves there slam dunk. Man, I got $8,000 off this brand new 2025 Genesis I won. $1,000 car payment. Now, some of you thinking, Deshone, well, what about money down? See, we're not there yet. The reason why we're not there yet is because when you automatically, good to see you, Javon, Miranda, Trisha, checking in on TikTok. When you go to an automatic down payment to start to factor in how much the car is costing you, you actually are missing it. Because it will make you think the car isn't costing you what it's actually costing you. So we just did. That's why when you shop for your cars, we teach you to shop with no money down. You put money down later once you determine you have a great deal and you want to manage your monthly payment. That's where the down payment comes in. But when we're just shopping, we're trying to see how much is this vehicle going to actually cost us? So if we were to put nothing down, we're looking at $1,000 a month for 5 years. Now, let's shift it. Let's say Gigi decides, you know what? I'm going to do what a lot of people say. I am going to go and get me a used car. I want to find a 3-year-old version of the Genesis. So instead of $53,000, what do we think a 3-year-old one might cost? Throw some numbers out. Instead of $53,000. And then lastly, I'm going to show you what the lease looks like to show you why when it comes to money leaving your household and the car you're driving, leasing is the best way to go. It's going to give you the most, but we'll get there. All right, I like that, Gigi. Good. 38,000. I like that. Gavin Galloway on YouTube said 35. Good estimates there. Let's take the lower of the two. Let's just take the lower of the two. 53,000. Well, 53,000 new, 3 years old. No, let's do about 38,000. No, let's go 35. 35, we throw your taxes and your fees on there, get you to about 38. Every $5,000, about $100 per month. 38, that's a $750 a month car payment for a used car. We're clear? Type of F if you're following. Type, all right, Deshone, I see how much a new one would cost. I see how much a used one would cost me. Because we could definitely talk. There's only a few people paying cash. So not a lot of people have 35 grand, 50 grand saved up cash. And if you did, all that was saved up payments. It amazes me that somebody came on the page yesterday and said, well, you know, what I do is just put payments to the side and then I go in and pay cash after 5 years. I got 40 grand saved up. Well, you do realize those were just payments that you saved up. So following. All right, now let's go with the lease. So one scenario, I bring a brand new Genesis home. I'm paying $1,000 a month. Second scenario, I say, you know what? I want to save some money. Let me listen to some of these gurus that say I should just buy a used car, and they go and you get your used car, and you're paying $750 a month. Okay, a little bit better. Now on a lease on a Genesis, $53,000 car. If it has a good lease program, when you get multiple offers, you should be around 1.25 to 1.3. That's a good lease program with a big discount from the dealer. So you got to use multiple offers because you can't, if you're buying, we have something we call here the 80% to let you guys know. We shop for cars all around the country and we teach people, we have 2,300 members in Cars from Home, have several thousand books sold. So we have people all around the country that report data to us, and we also shop for people. So if new cars, new cars and leases, good credit, we shop for people. So we're in the market very heavy. And what we've been seeing for 3 years is 80%, 8 out of 10 dealers are overpriced. They are never going to discount their car enough to have it be a below market deal. So when you look at 1.25 on a $53,000 vehicle, that's $662 a month. So that's $662 a month. Now, even if you come in at 1.4, if the lease deal is not as aggressive, $53,000 vehicle, that's $742 a month. Still great value. Here's why. When you are leasing, you're driving a brand new car. Good to see you, Jadare. We got you. Nope, just keep your question. Dolan sees it. We'll pull it into the show. Everybody, it's Tuesday, May 13th. We're live, 12 noon to 1:30. Throw your questions in. Right now, I'm breaking down exactly how you want to start your car purchase based on comparing leasing a brand new one versus buying a brand new one versus buying a pre-owned one. And showing you why we created the 8-year rule to show you that if you lease, if you purchase, but you should have leased, there's no way to get a great deal on a car. It doesn't matter how much you save. So again, remember, y'all, let's not forget that to get that $1,000 payment, how much did we got to save off the new car? $8,000. Then we got a great deal on a used one, saved almost 20 grand from I'm being super conservative here. I'm being conservative with everything except the lease. So I'm purposely being conservative on the used car price. Some people are going to say, well, Deshone, I can't even find a used one for under 40. But we're being conservative, say if you get it for 35, you're paying $750 a month. Now, if you take it to a 6-year loan, you might get it to $675 a month. Used car. You take a 6-year loan on a brand new one, instead of $1,000, you're paying $900. Meanwhile, as you shop your lease offers, you get a great deal on the lease, and your payments under all of them. Let me see if I can pull up that Genesis deal. Now, this was where's that Genesis deal? Here we go. This Genesis deal was on a GV80 because it's up in the 60s. But look where the best offer came in at. 1.35. Now look at this. The best offer came in, this is a $64,000 vehicle, almost 65. Came in at $840 a month was his best offer. Now, mind you, look at the other offers. You guys on TikTok, you can't see this, but our platform doesn't let us share the TikTok, but I'm gonna read it. I'm showing a spreadsheet because the way we shop, you want to get at least 5 offers or you won't find the 20%. You won't find the 20% of dealers who want to get that deal at that time. The 20% changes. The 20% is the dealer that at that time, I need this deal and I'm going to beat my competition to get it. They might need to hit their numbers. They might be whatever the reason. They're the ones. The rest of the dealers are like, hey, we'll sell this car to someone else before we discount that low. So now $840 a month, 1.3% lease, that's on a GV80. So if you come in at a 1.3 on a GV70, you're still under 700. You're between 7 and 750 a month with no money out of your pocket, and you're driving a brand new car. And here's the best part: where do we lose on cars? It's not as soon as we buy them. It's later on when we realize we didn't factor in depreciation. So when we come back in 3 years to replace that car because we know we weren't keeping it for 8 years, we come back and they run our numbers and see what our car is worth. And they're like, hey, you got negative equity. Or here's a shame. Let's do a little bit more realistic scenario. You pay $1,000 a month for that Genesis. You come back in 3 years and you want to replace it. And they tell you, well, the car's worth right about what you owe on it. So What happened to, so follow me here. One scenario, you're paying $300 more per month for a brand new car to drive the same car that someone's going to pull up in, paying $300 a month less. Picture that. So Gigi, you pull up in your brand new lease, GV70, you see somebody pull up right next to you. You're like, hey man, how we got the same truck? Hey man, yeah. Now the guy who bought it, he's like, man, yeah, man, you know, if you were to ask him, hey man, what's your payment on yours? He says, man, I pay right about $1,000. I ain't put no money down though. Think they got a good deal. Hey, I ain't had to put no money down. That wasn't a deal. That's a whole nother video we got to talk about. No money down is not a deal. No one did you a favor, you know. So anyway, then they say, oh, what you pay for yours? Oh, I'm paying $700. Oh man, you must have put a lot of money down. No, I didn't put anything down. I leased this. Oh, you lease it? Oh, but I'm purchasing this. I own this. Oh, you own it? And it's paid off? No. I got a loan on it, but you know, but I don't typically keep them that long anyway. I'm probably just gonna hold on to it for probably about 3-4 years. Then I'll go in and I'll get me something else. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do in 3 years. When my lease is up, I'm gonna go get something else too. Now you're paying $300 more per month than me for the exact same car. Now we go down the road 3 years. I go in and I replace my lease. I get something else, no money down. You go in and that $300 per month, what does that equal after 3 years? 3 times 12, that's $3,600 a year. So $3,600 a year more than me is coming out of your bank account. 3,600 times 3, 72, what's that? Right around $11,000. So we're talking about $11,000 more. Now, when you go in to replace that car, they tell you you're right at about a break even. The car you still owe about, you didn't put any money down, you still owe about 35,000, 33, and that's really all the car is worth right now. You know, you owe. So what happened to you? What happened to the 11 grand? What happened to the 11 grand? Remember, people are purchasing thinking at some point, I got to get some of this money back. How could you be driving the same car for less than me? Somewhere along the line, you're going to lose. Now I come into the dealership after 3 years and they're telling me my car is worth right about what I owe. What happened to the 11 grand, everybody? That $3,600 extra per year that came out of your bank account, that came out of that person's bank account because someone told them, purchase your cars, never lease cars. Thank you. It's gone. It's gone. That is purchasing with short-term mindset. So if you're not buying to keep 8+ years, all you're doing is throwing money away. It's literally, you'd be better off just opening your window, throw money away if you're buying cars, not keeping them 8 years instead of leasing. We just broke it down, compared 3 scenarios. One scenario, you're paying $750 a month for a used car. On this car, Gigi, that we're talking about a $53,000 Genesis SUV. One scenario, you're paying $750 a month if you got a used version. One scenario, you're paying $1,000 a month if you got a new version. $900 a month if you take out the loan for 6 years. And then one scenario is you get a great lease deal. And again, all of them were great. All of them were great deals. Every single scenario we just broke down, you had to get a great deal on all of them. Great price on the new, great price on the used, great lease deal. Leasing takes less money out of your household every month for the same car. And that's what I'm doing with my 2025 Infiniti truck. $499 a month is my payment. $54,000 truck. It's people paying, it's $54,000 truck. No money. I gave them $1,200. It's people paying easily over $1,000 a month to purchase that car. No money down. And let's throw one more thing in, and then we'll take some more questions because I see we got a lot more questions coming in. But the biggest thing costing you is this leasing versus buying? Second thing is you're not making dealers bid. You're negotiating one-to-one. But this leasing versus buying is tearing up your bank account, and you're driving older cars with no warranty, and you're just not getting anything for them. That's why we hammer these things home, and I show you numbers. I show you comparisons. We don't rant about leasing versus buying. We break down the numbers, and you just, because numbers don't lie. But let's say you're one of these people who say, well, Deshone, if you put money down, then that won't happen, because you could put 20% down, and you know, when you go to replace your car in 3 years, you won't have negative equity, or you won't break even. You'll have maybe a little equity in it. Okay, so if the scenario we just talked about, when you come to replace that car in 3 years, and by the way, being in dealerships 14 years, I've seen this hundreds of times. So I'm telling you just a scenario I have regularly seen hundreds of times. People buy their cars, come in, they're like, whoa, that's all my car's worth? Yeah, man, I'm paying this on it. And that's when an advisor who's wise, like I would educate them on leasing. And then they would be like, oh, man, I wish I would have knew this years ago. Man, and then we give them, it's just a beautiful thing. Making the wake-up call from, wow, I've been purchasing, spending all of this money and not leasing, to like, whoa, okay, I'm going to lease. It's going to change your life and your bank account. That's how big it is. It's such a dramatic wake-up call. So you put that 10, let's say you put 10 grand down. So now you put 10 grand down. So instead of you financing 30, on that new car, instead of financing 50,000, you finance 40,000. Payment's still 800. And then when you're coming back in 3 years, your car, you might get 4 or 5 grand equity. Because again, let's say you get 10 grand equity, but you just tied up 10 grand of your money, and you still paid more than the person who was leasing with the higher down payment. So I gave you 10 grand of my money, tied up for 3 years in a car. God forbid I have an accident. Now my value of my car, we ain't even talk about that. It's so many variables to take on that you're just losing. Because we're also assuming when you come to replace your car in 3 years, you haven't had an accident where you lost 2,500 or 3 grand of the car's value because it has a bad Carfax. All of this stuff is the reason why short-term purchasers are losing. You cannot win purchasing short-term. Depreciation will kill you. Accidents will kill you. Your car payment on that car will kill you. All of those things. But a long-term purchaser, all of those things work out over time. So if you've had your car for 10 years, you don't care if it had an accident. You don't care how much it depreciated. You don't care. All right, it's been paid off for 4 years. Now I haven't had a payment in 4 years. Great. Long-term. 8 to 10 years, 12 years. And I'm sure we got some people on here on the stream that have had cars for 10 to 12 years. Might not be you. You might be saying, Deshone, no way, I would never keep a car that long. You don't have the values of a keeper. All right? So that's me going deep on step one. Step one of our process, we have a 7-step process with Cars from Home. It's called the most important question. How many years are you keeping your next car? And this lets you know and helps you understand the 8-year rule. So instead of this whole, oh, should I lease, should I buy? Am I keeping my next car 8 years or not? If my goal is to keep my next car 8 years or longer, then I'm purchasing, new or pre-owned. If I'm not keeping my next car 8 years, then I'm shopping for a below market lease. That's gonna be the lowest investment. Give me the best car, most for my money. Not even close. All right? Type a dollar sign if y'all understood that. Who understood that? That's only step one. The leasing versus buying question. Our system is 7 steps. All right, we got a lot more questions coming in. By the way, I see you, Trisha. Everything that I'm talking about is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. Thank you to everyone who's taken the time to go to Goodreads to review, to write a review, to rate the book. We appreciate you. We wanted to create a system where it was like a checklist, where instead of you learning or coming and getting a Bible lesson, like this is not the Bible of cars. This isn't, let me tell you everything about leasing and money factors and interest rate. No, this is a 7-step checklist of how you can get below market leases, below market used cars, below market new cars, step by step from home. Only thing we do in a dealership is test drive or go pick up their car if they don't deliver. Go pick up our new car if they don't deliver. Okay, so as part of our welcome offer, you can get your copy for 75% off. It's normally $97. It's a digital book, so it'll be in your inbox and literally by the time you end the show. So you can go ahead, it's a 2-hour offer. Next 2 hours, you can get it for 75% off. That's $24. Just click that link in my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio, the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments, and go grab your book, come back to the stream. You won't have to remember any of this because we're going to go over a lot more. I see we got a lot more questions. And after a while, you're going to be like, oh, okay, Deshone, there's a lot to this. But everything I'm teaching is out of this book in a step-by-step way. So, all right, for those of you who need your copy, go grab your copy. Come on back to the show. All right, Dolan. Next question. I know we got a lot more, buddy. All right, let me check in on Instagram. Okay. All right. Kathy O'Connor, good to see you on Facebook. Is it a good financial move to buy a vehicle that you leased after the lease is up? Great question. The answer in most cases is no, because when I would be in the dealership, right? Somebody comes in. I want to ask everybody, stay engaged. I need you by the keyboard because I'm about to ask you a question. I would be at the dealership. Some of you know I worked for Mercedes for 5 years. I worked for General Motors for 5 years. Somebody walks in, they say, hey, you know what? I'm looking to get out of this. I want to get into something new. Now I look and I can see, I'm like, what year is that? And that they might say, okay, 2020. At the time when I was in the dealership, it might be like 16, like 5 years old. Now, if someone told you, if I say, hey, are you the only owner? They say yes. So if somebody tells you they're the only owner of a car, they've had it since it was new, and they're the only owner, they've had it 5 years, wouldn't you think that car is almost paid off or paid off? Type yes or no. Somebody tells you, I've had this car 5 years, I'm the only owner. Wouldn't you think that car is either paid off or almost paid off after 5 years? Yes, right? All right, thanks, Life is Good. I see you. Remember, stay by your keyboard. This is a very important question that Kathy O'Connor asked about buying the lease at the end. So I see you, Trisha. All right, shout out to the locked in people. Locked in. Now, what I'm thinking, when I see a person who's coming in, they're replacing a car they've had for 5 years, and they're ready to get into something new. I already know they paid a ton of money because to pay off that car in 5 years, like you paid a ton of money. So what I'm going to do is educate you on leasing. First, I'm going to ask, hey, I noticed you're getting rid of the car in 5 years. Are you planning to keep your next one for 5 years or longer? Or how long are you going to keep the next one? If they tell me, no, about the same, I already know you're going to love leasing when I tell you about it. You're going to get the car you want. You're going to spend way less money. And so this is my whole thing. And whatever that car is worth, because it's paid off or almost paid off, you're going to get a check for that you're going to put right in your bank account. You're used to trading this car and using all of that value towards the next car, and you're not going to have to do that. You're going to put a lot of that money in your bank account. So this is what I'm getting ready to tell the person. But and then I ask them, well, how much do you owe on the car? And this is the first red flag. Oh, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Okay, well, I'll call the bank. Listen, so we pick out a car, we do everything. Now I go to the used car manager. I say, okay, how much is the car worth? Okay, at Mercedes, something like that might have been worth, 18 grand. Tell them, all right, the car's worth 18,000. So now I'm thinking again, like we all are, car must be paid off or almost paid off. I call the bank. Hey, I'm calling for Mr. Jones. I need to pay off for his 2017 Mercedes. Oh, yes. He owes $19,800. $19,800? Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So this is going left. This would happen all the time. Mr. Jones, I called the bank. They said you still owe 19,000 on this. He's like, oh man, yeah, I didn't know how much I still owed on it. But didn't you say you've had it for 5 years? Yes. Yeah. You're the only owner? Yes. So how is it you still owe 19,000? Oh, well, I had leased it. First I leased it for 3 years and then I bought it at the end of the lease. Ah, and you took out a what, 5-year loan? Yeah, I took out a 5-year loan. Most people take out a 6-year loan when they buy their lease. So you leased the car for 3 years, made 3 years of payments, then you turned around and financed the car for 5 or 6 more years. How many years is that of payments on the same vehicle? 8 or 9. Most people who are buying their lease out are taking a 8 or 9 year payment plan on the same exact car. One of the worst things I've seen, because you can pay on a car for 5 years and still be upside down. So when we look at breaking it down and saying, well, I can't afford the car if I don't lease it first and then buy it. So what does that mean? You can't afford the car. That's what that means. If you're looking at a brand new car and saying, okay, if I lease that, if I finance it, I can't afford it. But if I lease it and then I finance the difference at the end, then I could afford it. You can't afford it. Now, the best thing to do is to revert back to the 8-year rule and ask yourself, am I keeping this next car 8 years or not? Because the only exception, Kathy, to buying your lease is if you plan on keeping the car for another 8 years. Because here's what you're doing when you're buying your lease. It's very simple. You're buying a used car. We got you to 23, Alana. We got questions coming from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So we're gonna pull them all in. But this is a lesson on those who, again, the dealerships don't mind if you will do that. The dealership's not gonna come in and say, you know what, this is really a bad idea. You should, if you're not keeping this car, you should not be leasing it to begin with. You should, I mean, if you're not keeping this car, you should just continue leasing. If you want a car that you're going to keep for 8 years or longer, then you should just purchase a car. And if you can't purchase one new, then you should purchase one used. But combining them is thousands of dollars more coming out of your household. And here's the thing. If you, let's say, because some of you are like this, Deshone, well, I got a lease now. It's almost done. And I really want to keep this car. I want to keep it for another 8 years minimum. Then you can buy it. Because all you're doing, again, when you're buying your lease is buying a used car. So if you were to say, Deshone, what do you think about buying used cars? If you're keeping it more than 8 years, according to the 8-year rule, buy the used car. So if you have a great deal on your lease already, the buyout, the lease buyout is lower than the market value. If the lease buyout is a below market purchase, and how do you know this? Look at what similar cars are being offered for. So if you have, we had somebody in our Cars from Home program, and she had a nice Genesis, and she's like, Deshone, I'm having a hard time finding a car that I really want to lease. And I think I love my car. Like, I want to buy the lease out. I said, okay, you're going to keep it another 8 years? She's like, look, I don't even really drive this car a lot. I will keep this car. Like, it's the color I want. It has everything I want in it. I said, okay, here's what you need to do. Don't let emotions make you make that decision. Look at your lease buyout. Go right to your go right to the marketplaces that we shop for used cars on. We have a marketplace strategy that we use. We're on cars.com, Auto Trader, Carfax, Car Gurus, Carvana, Driveway, and CarMax. I said, go to those, open up the marketplaces, and tell me, is the price that you can buy your car for lower or at least on the low side of what the other similar cars are being offered for? Because if your lease buyout is 39, but you see other similar cars for 36, 35, then that means you're about to overpay for the privilege of buying your own car. She did that. She said, Deshone, everything is higher. There's nothing close with my mileage and with my equipment. I said, then there you go. Make the deal. She went in, she bought her lease, and she's keeping it. That's the rare exception. Do we understand? Type a $sign if we understand. Because there's millions of people out here buying their leases right now, and they just don't know how much they're about to overpay. And all right, good. I'm glad you got it, Sam. Thanks, Trisha. Life is good. All right, perfect. All right, perfect. E-Man, good to see you. All right, Chris Bradley. All right, glad y'all following this. 100%. Jamel, you got it. All right, let's go, Dolan. Next question. Let's try to get through as many as we can in the next half hour or so. All right. Does the program work with Mercedes? I'll tell you, it does. Everything we do at Cars from Home works with anything. Rolls Royces, Bentleys. I'm from the Mercedes world. So for me, I saw how when I came from General Motors, Pontiac, Buick, GMC, before we lost Pontiac, the same mistakes shopping-wise, lease-wise, finance-wise, they were making at General Motors, they were making at Mercedes. It's not like people who spend more money on cars have financial literacy where cars are concerned. They're losing more than other people, but doesn't matter, because what we're talking about here is depreciation, taking into you're now, see, as you use what we're talking about, what you're taking into account that 99% of car shoppers don't is depreciation, which is what we call the unseen expense. We'll continually hear cars are depreciating asset, depreciating asset. No one actually tells you what that means. Thanks, Jatari. Got the #3 gifted badge. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who's lighting the likes up on TikTok and everybody who's hit the like button on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Thank you so much. But you'll never hear people talk about what does a depreciating asset mean, though. I hear you keep saying that, but what does it mean? Okay, give you an example. If you went in to purchase a stock, a share in a company, and they said, well, this is a depreciating stock, you would probably perk up and say, what the heck does that mean? Well, it's going to go down in value. Okay, then I kind of need to sit and okay. You see how it would stop you? See, we're talking about what we do here is really when you start to see that, whoa, they've really warped us here in this car business because they get us to do things that we would never do with anything else. If somebody said to you that you're about to buy a stock, for those of you who invest in stock, and they said this is a depreciating stock, you would be like, all right, well, what do I need? Should I buy this thing? But if they said, listen, well, here's the good thing. It depreciates for about 6 years, 7 years, and then it starts to go up in value. You would be like, all right, well, I got to consider how many years I'm going to keep this thing. Because if I'm not keeping it that long, no, I don't keep stocks that long. I kind of trade my stocks like I'm a 5-year person. You know, I like short term. I need to get my money out. You would take that into account. It's the same thing with cars, except they don't go up in value. They start to level out. Some of you who has a car outside right now, you've had it for 10 years. Type me. If you have a car outside, you've had it for at least 10 years. Type me. We'll wrap this lesson up because this is what we take into account when we talk about leasing versus purchasing. And getting bids is the second part. I said it's 2 big mistakes, 2 huge mistakes that's costing you tons of money. Leasing versus purchasing and not getting bids for cars. Anybody got cars outside for more than 10 years? Okay, 23 Alana says, I have one for 18. Awesome. Awesome. Gloria, I'm new to buying a car. Wonderful. You're in the right place. Jamel has one for more than 10 years. D has one more than 10 years on YouTube. All right. So check this out. You'll notice the same value the car has today is going to be about what it's worth a year from now. You're going to lose very little value. Why? Because you reach the point where your depreciation on your car is so minimal. Now, there was years when you first bought it, you were losing $5,000, $8,000 a year or more. You buy a car for 40, a year later, it's worth 33. The more you drive, the less it's worth. But you get to a point where it's the depreciation. Dannon has a 2009 Dodge Challenger. 100%, whatever that vehicle is worth, Dannon, it's going to be worth about the same a year from now. That's when you've won with the purchase. That's when you have won. My vehicle's not depreciating a lot anymore. I can hold on to it. It's not because it's paid off. I can put a little money to the side for maintenance and repairs if things go wrong. That's when you've won. But you have to take this into account before you acquire the vehicle. You don't get to purchase it and then say, oh, well, am I going to keep this thing? No, you bought a depreciating asset. Therefore, you now need to wear that depreciation. And if you get rid of the car right after the car has depreciated the most, you're doing what most people do. People buy that depreciating asset. It goes down in value like this for 5-6 years. And then they say, all right, let me go get another one. And they ride the sliding board down again. And what we do with below market leases is we're not on that sliding board to begin with. So that's what we take into account, Gigi. Whether it's Mercedes, whether it's Range Rover, whether it's Chevrolet, Toyota, all of these are principles that carry over. Okay? Great question. All right, Dolan, cue up the next one. Oh, Jateri got the #1 gifted badge now. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Jateri. All right. Any advice on how to trade a Kia I'm still paying for? Simple. Right now, you're going to call your bank. This is step 2 of our process. We call this the equity assessment. We don't do this. And see, now there's a curse word in this question. Let me see if any of you know. I'm going to read this question, and you guys, I don't know, some of you who've been here for a little while, you might know. Any advice on how to trade a Kia I'm still paying for? What's the curse word in this sentence? It's a word we don't use. Thank you, Sunshine. All right. Sunshine on YouTube got it. Trade. I love my locked in people. Just locked in. I know y'all are gonna win. I know I'm gonna get emails from y'all. Deshaun, look at my car deal. Look at this. Just pick this up. Look at what I got. Look at the discount I got. Because y'all locked in. Trade. Because what we do right now, there's 3 pillars of great car deals. I want you to know this. 3 pillars. In order for you to get a great car deal, you must get a great deal from each pillar. Who you buy your car from. 1 transaction. Who you sell your old car to. 2nd transaction. Who you get your loan from. 3rd transaction. Now, be honest. Who's giving a dealership all 3? Thinking you did 1 transaction. Who's giving a dealership all 3? I bought a car from them. I gave my old car or sold it to them. They called it a trade. It's not a trade. And then I got a loan from them. Who's done all 3? So the reason why you can't get a great deal doing that is because there's money in all 3 transactions. How do we know there's big money in all 3 transactions? Thank you, Tricia, for the honesty. You know, okay, thank you. The reason why we can't get a great deal is because there's money in all 3. So there's money in the car. So, all right, when you sit down and you're giving a car dealership 3 transactions, they got money to play with on every level. I got cushion here with the car I want to sell you. I got cushion here in your car because it's worth You could probably out there on the market, if you sold it to like a CarMax or a Driveway or Carvana or a Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer or AutoNation or Car Guru, you might be able to get 18 for it. But my dealer could only pay you 16. And I'm not even going to offer you 16. I'm going to start out at like 14.5, 14. Really leave some cushion in there. That's why it's called peeling you off the ceiling. These are internal terms. You got to peel them off the ceiling. Hey, Mr. Jones, listen. All right, so we did some research on your car. Car's worth $14,000. What? Hits the ceiling. Gotta wait for you to come down. All right, well, Mr. Jones, what were you thinking the car was worth? And so you're leaving cushion here. You're leaving cushion in the rate, in the interest rate. So now we look and you're like, wow, all of this money is in this transaction. I'm thinking it's just one transaction. No, if you bid out your interest rate, get multiple offers from banks, credit unions, and the dealership. We show you how to do that. It's called the bank bidding war. Then you, instead of trading, what you're doing is you're going right now, call your bank, ask them, what is my payoff on my Kia? Get your payoff. Let's say it's $18,000. Then you're going to do what we call an equity assessment, where you go to CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, Car Gurus, and Driveway. And when you do, and you can do this for a car you still have. That's why I'm asking you, call the bank. And I'm gonna blow your minds with, I'm gonna blow some of your minds with this one. You can do this on a lease. You can do this on a lease. Not only can you do this on a car that you still have payments on, you can do this on a lease. Some of you hear me talk about Rosalie. Rosalie sold, she got 3 leases, incredible deals, got 2 1% leases, $399 a month, no money down on a Nissan Rogue, $36,000, almost $37,000 Nissan Rogue. She got a Mazda CX-30, 3 vehicles for her sons within 30 days using our program. CX-50, $40,000 vehicle, $420 a month. And then she got a $28,000 CX-30, $339 a month, or 1.2% lease. And watch this. Here's the cherry on top. These are her words. I sold 2 leases, 2021 Elantras, to We Buy Any Car, and she walked away with $6,737 in equity. So she went and she leased 3 cars for her sons. And then she sold the old leases. When I sold my first lease, it was a Jeep Grand Cherokee during the pandemic. I made $9,000. $9,000 after I drove the car for 3 years. My mother, she's a low mileage driver. She has her CX-5 at the time. We sold that. She made $10,200. In fact, I think what really blew me up, well, the first video I ever made on TikTok, been seen 26 million times now. Thank you to everyone who shared that. The worst thing you could do in a car dealership. But when people, I think, knew that I was going to help change their bank accounts was when we started selling leases. And we started getting great deals from home that they never knew I could sell a car that I was paid off for. So I think it's the transitioning from financing to leasing. I'm just trying to think where I've seen most people say, wow, Deshone, this has really changed my life when it comes to these cars. Going from financing to leasing, selling leases instead of dropping them off at the end, because you have to do an equity assessment. Most leases don't have equity, but some do. So if you're just dropping your lease off here, all right, and give me this one without an equity assessment, you've definitely given away thousands of dollars. Again, like I said at the beginning of the show, this is going to be bad news because most of you are hearing, you're seeing deals you're not getting. You're seeing prices you're not getting. You're seeing, whoa, wait a minute, Deshone, what you mean? How many leases have you returned without doing an equity assessment? Man, I probably returned 7 leases. Never did an equity assessment on any of them? No. Okay, how much has that cost you? Again, bad news. Three pillars of great car deals. It's money in the rate, it's money in your old car, it's money in the new car you're buying. If you don't bid out each one and get multiple offers from each one, you're giving you're giving the dealer 3 transactions. Impossible to get a great deal because you can't negotiate each one if you're not bidding them out. All bad news. But here's the great thing. We change now. We change now. I'm going to make sure I do an equity assessment before I return my lease. I'm not giving. It's just the same way we just told you, Trisha, and Life is Good. Same way. Call your bank, find out what the payoff is, get your cash offers. Very simple. Very simple. They just didn't tell you that you could sell a car, just like they don't tell people, I don't know what the reason is, that you could sell a car that you still make payments on. It's been people walk in the dealership, they'll be like, Deshone, when I was at the dealership, he's Deshone, man, what's that, the new one? Yeah, that's the 2020. All right, I got 3 more payments left on mine, and then I'm going to come see you for that one. What's the reason, sir? Well, you know, once I make the payment, they send me the title, I'll come see you. You don't have to, sir. You don't have to. So again, the amount of bad information out there, we haven't even gone through everything. So when we see that this book is rated so high, my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships, everything I'm teaching on these shows is out of my book. There's nothing that I'm talking about on this show that's not out of my book. So when you see, wow, this is exactly what Deshone was saying. Oh, Deshone said the equity assessment. Oh, we do that now. Oh, boom. Oh, he talks about the 1.25% lease. I hear him talk about this on the shows. I'm not freestyling this. This is a scientific process. It's not an art. It's a science. We're shopping for cars the way we shop for everything else. There's nothing else, no big item we buy that we would never get help. You would not start a business for $30,000 without help. If I told you right now, oh man, yeah, you starting a business, Chris? Chris, you starting a business? Man, that's great. Yeah, man, you know, it's going to cost me about $30,000. Whoa. So what are you doing? Man, yeah, man, I got my attorney, man. You know, look, I got a couple people that know the business. They helping me because I want to make sure I don't lose this money. $30,000, you would not start a business without help. If a house was on sale on your street when there was $50,000 houses, shacks, say there's a shack on the road, up the road, it's available. Man, I want to buy that little plot of land, $50,000. You're getting a realtor, you're getting a title company, you're getting you're going to have a home inspection, you're going to have a surveyor. But with $50,000 cars, oh, we just go in on a weekend. You understand? Is that making sense? Who is it making sense to? Type. I wish we could do some emojis, the light bulb, the gym emojis. Because if you just understand that this is a programming, then you'll say, all right, I got to unlearn all of this crap. Because they programmed me to do stuff with cars that I would not do with anything else in life. I would not go into anywhere and make a $50,000 decision without counsel, without help. So when we put together this book, this digital book, it's not a physical book. You can have it in your inbox by the time the show is over. I wanted to make sure you had a step-by-step path to get below market deals, used cars, purchases. Leasing versus buying is step 1. Assessing your equity is step 2. That's where we that's where we find out how much how much is the car we have worth? How much is the car we're replacing worth? Be it paid off, be it financed, be it a lease. And there are cases when we have negative equity, we need to know that early. Not when we go and get our car and then they tell, oh, you have negative equity. No, I'm going to know that now because I'm going to bid this out to buyers who are going to bid my car up, and then I'm going to see how much negative equity I have. And then we have a path for you to get out of it. And then step 3, we structure our budget. Step 4, we go out, we pick what we want, we do some test drives. And then step 5, we get multiple offers on that. Step 6, I help you go over paperwork, extended warranties, aftermarket plans. Do we need these things? Road hazards. Do we need tire and wheel protection? Do we need the maintenance plan? And then step 7 is delivery and pickup. That's it. It's a boom, 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 boom car. That's it. So if you want your copy, you can get it instead of $97, which is the price. My welcome offer to you, 2-hour offer, is $24, 75% off. In my TikTok bio, click that link, or my Instagram bio, the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments. We have a link for you, and you never have to worry. You'll be writing me. This is something that is proven. This isn't something that you have to worry. Oh man, is this going to work for me? That ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. In fact, let's before we read a couple more questions, let me read a couple. Of these testimonials that I got from Chad. Thank you so much, Chad, for writing. I just had my 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited delivered after following your advice and Cars from Home. I didn't have to go to the dealership at all and did almost everything by email. Great advice, and it made the car leasing experience fun. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing that a person could be at home, get multiple offers, make their deal by email, and say, wow, this was fun. When's the last time your car purchase was fun? All right. From Wendell. Wendell in the 18, Deshone in the 18. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is the least I can say for your book, Cars from Home. We're still in the middle of the process. Just sold our car today. So he did his equity assessment. Step 2. We just sold our car today, like 10 minutes ago, for 30% above true value because he didn't trade. See, had he traded, he would have got that true value. I've read the book multiple times and told many people about it. It's that good. It's so intuitive and insightful. Oh, man, I'm going to start reading more of these during the show. One more. This one's from Brian. Just finalized my first ever lease using your system. 2025 Honda HR-V Sport, all-wheel drive, $30,500. My payment's $395 a month, 1.2% ratio. Awesome. 12,000 miles per year, 36 months. Now, we do have first ever lease from home. Will never change because once you've done it our way, you never go back to the old way. So it's like, whoa, and I love the fact that we have young people and first-time car buyers who are doing it our way because they haven't had time to learn the wrong way. So they don't really have much to unlearn. All they have to do is walk out our steps. The people who you've done a car deal, the way they've indoctrinated you into do car deals, and the people who you've gotten 3, 4, 5, 10 cars, the old way, the way the dealerships love, buyer's remorse prone, it's harder for you because you have to unlearn everything you were taught. You got to stop going to websites, looking at inventory, looking at commercials. Oh, that lease deal. Oh, man, they want all that money down. The people who learn from us first time, they never look at that garbage because they were trained that's garbage. So, but in any case, you can absolutely unlearn the old way. As long as you realize that I don't need to bring anything to the Cars from Home way. The process Deshone created is proven. It gets result. I don't need to bring my ideas. All I need to bring is my goals. Like, what is my goal? You leave the strategy to us. Okay, so go grab your book. Get there before the timer hits 0, and you'll get your 75% off. You'll get yours for $24. Welcome, Anthony. Shout out to you. I see you new follower on TikTok. Thank you. All right, Gloria, I got my book. I need to start reading. Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And just take it step by step because what it is, Gloria, it's not a Bible. It is a checklist. So be clear. I always like to be clear. I am not trying to turn you guys into well-armed people who know as much as me about the car buying process and everything that works and how to assist. No, not necessary. In fact, my first book, not my first one, my second one, I wrote just like that. I wanted to teach everyone everything. And that book it did well. But I said to myself, you know what? People don't want to learn everything I know. People just want to learn. Deshone, tell me the steps, like if we got on the phone. If I was able to get you on the phone and you could tell me step 1, step 2, step 3, tell me like that. I said, okay, that's how I'm going to write this book. And that's why we've seen the results be like, you know, testimonial, because people don't need all the extra stuff. All right, let's go, Dolan. We got time for a few more. Throw another one up. All right. The agreed upon value of my lease is $22,000, and the MSRP sticker is $20,845. Does this mean I have negative equity in the lease? Great question. There is no negative equity in the lease because all we're going to do at the end of the lease is drop it off. So the only reason we're looking, the only thing you could have in a lease is positive equity or not. If your number, if the offer, so let's just say now it's the buyout price is 20,000. Now, I don't know, not the MSRP sticker. MSRP sticker is a new car. Let me show you what that looks like. MSRP sticker is like this. That's an MSRP sticker. These are only available on new cars. All right, that's the window sticker. When we are looking at the end of our leases, we are getting 6 offers, maybe 7, because Rosalie got one for We Buy Any Car. Some of them are regional, but I think We Buy Any Car is pretty big now. So we get our offers from Driveway, Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, We Buy Any Car, CarMax. I set them throughout the show. So we get those 7 cash offers. Takes us about 20 minutes. And this is thousands of dollars. Some of you are going to make more in equity per hour invested than you ever can make on your job. We had somebody who's making $4,700. She sold her Hyundai Tucson when she got her new Hyundai Tucson a couple weeks ago. And she made $4,700. The whole process took her about 2 hours. So do the math. So, and again, everyone doesn't have equity. But I will never return, and no one who learns from me will ever return a car or a lease without checking for equity. So we run our numbers, we get our payoff. So if your payoff is $20,000, now you're looking for what is the highest offer that a company will pay me for my actual car. Once you do your equity assessment, if let's say your payoff is 20, but all the offers are 18 or less, you don't have equity. But with a lease, you don't pay anything. All that means is you can't get out of the contract early. Because with a lease contract, we only do 36 or 39 months. If they have a short-term offer, they'll tell us about it. If they have a 30-month lease, they'll tell us about it. Because in my book, I have templates. You just fill them out, email them. That's why everyone was saying, oh, it's all by email. It's not them making up emails. I even give you the scripts to use to send to make your deals. Now, when we drop off the car, well, actually, I was talking about we don't do 48-month leases. So we don't do 42-month leases. You're paying too long on a car that you're giving back. So we look for 36-month leases or 39 or shorter. So, but our templates are for 36 months because most people don't have a 30-month lease or a 24-month lease. And like I said, if they do, when we reach out to the dealers, they'll tell us about it. But you don't want to look to break that contract. That's why we're very big on teaching you how to go test drive multiple cars, because a problem is some of you are not shopping. You're rushing your decision making, and then you want to get out of that car in 1 year. But as I said, there's no car that you're buying that you can get out of in 1 year and not lose 20%. No car. And the only way they make you think you can do that is by switching you to another car and hiding the losses in your monthly payment. So you'll never see that. When you look at that buyer's order and you see, dang, how much did you give me for my old car though? Oh, it was 28. Dang, but I paid 40,000 for that car last year. Yeah. See, a cash buyer would never. But payment buyers, they'll come in, oh, trade the car. Oh, how much was you paying on that one? I see you got a new car. Yeah, I got tired of that one. I wanted to get me something bigger. All right, how much your payment? No, they kept me on. It only went up like $50, but they stretched it out for 2 more years. Now you're in an 8-year loan, so or 7-year loan. So it's not made to be done that way. So what you're going to see with our system is we actually take the time, we enjoy the shopping process, which is deciding what we want. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go test drive. We do a 20-minute test drive. I'll show you how to do it. We get out of there, and we are not talking numbers in a dealership. So when we lease a car for 3 years, it's a car that we don't mind driving for 3 years because we've actually seen the market, test driven. There's 45 manufacturers out here making cars that they want to sell us. Most of us are not going to even see them. We go to one dealership. Oh, that's the one I like. We see one car, and next thing you know, we might not even test drive that. And then in 6 months, we're like, this car is not comfortable. We don't do that here. We enjoy our shopping. So the only time you can break a lease contract is if you're selling the car. So all it means if you run your equity assessment on a lease and you don't have equity, that just means, all right, I'm staying in this until the end of the lease. And we'll start checking for equity when you got about 6 months left. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's about to happen. If the tariffs hit anytime and new car prices go up, if new car prices go up, demand is going to shift to used cars because some people are not going to be able to afford them. Used car prices are going to go up. So what that means is some of us who have leases that are coming due in 6 months or 9 months, if the tariffs do hit, we are going to see our lease values go up. The car values are going to go up by probably 10, 15%. And then we'll have people again selling leases on a regular making 3,000 to 5,000 or more because your buyout's not going to go up. So that 20,000 is not going to go up, but your offers on your car might go from 19,000 up to 24, 25,000 because the whole market's going to appreciate. So just be mindful. Of course, as we see these things happen, we'll be reporting them on the show. So we are live. This is our Tuesday, May 13th show. We're live every Monday through Thursday from 12 to 1:30. And, this is what we do. We don't play around. We want to make sure you have what you need. All right. We are Oshana on TikTok. You should jump over to Facebook or YouTube and watch the replay because we did about a 15, 20-minute deep dive on leasing versus purchasing. I think it was like the first question. So those of you who want to catch some of the replays, you want to see the pictures with Sharon, you want to see the testimonials, we can't show those on TikTok because it's a different format. But you can hop right over to the Deshone the Auto Advisor YouTube because we're live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And you can go and you can watch the replay because we did. I don't want to go deep because it was people on here and we already went deep on that. That's why we rebroadcast these shows throughout the day as well, because you're going to see most of the time somebody's going to ask the same question you have. We've been doing this. So I've been in this business 14 years. I can tell you there's only about 50 questions that any of you can ask. It's all common. As much as you might think your situation is unique, there are millions of people in the same scenario, and it's common. I haven't seen anything that shocked me because, again, you do this a couple times throughout your life. Somebody like me, thousands of car transactions since 2006. So nothing surprises me. Nothing catches me off guard. I know 99% of what I need to know. And the 1% that I don't know, I have people I can call that I can counsel with. Hey, you ever seen this before? Hey, you ever seen this? And they'll help me get the answer. So, all right, go ahead, Dolan. Throw another one up. All right. My lease is up in November. My buyout's $30,000, but the CarMax offers $37,000. Is that good? Looks like you got $7,000 in equity. Now, what you need to decide is you need to call your leasing company and ask them, do I have a third-party restriction? If you have a third-party restriction, what that means is you can't sell direct to anyone but a dealership of the same brand. So, for example, Nissan. Nissan has third-party restrictions at the time of this video. We can only sell to a Nissan dealer. So I have a script in my book where I show you how to call Nissan dealers, talk to the used car manager, give them the information so that they can give you an offer. You need to get at least 3 to 5 offers because different used car managers will offer you different prices. So it depends on if you have the third-party restriction. Do not do what most people are doing out here. Oh, I got $7,000 equity. Let me buy the car and then turn around and resell it. You got to buy the car, fund the loan if you're getting a loan. If not, then you got to wait for the title to come. Markets change, and then it might not be 37 by the time the title changes. It's just, no. This is what we do. We get bids from the local dealerships, and we get our equity. And so again, looks like you're about to win. And in this particular scenario, this is a scenario where you can jump out of the lease early. You can start shopping now. Start shopping now. Once you set up your equity, this is why this is a checklist. Once you know what your equity is, boom, you move on to the next step. Getting my budget together, seeing how much my replacement car should cost me if I get a good deal on it. Then I go out, I test drive my replacement car. Then I shop for my car, and I show you how to do this. Our process takes minutes. So as you go through the process, once you're actually talking to the dealers by email, you can make a deal in 3 days. You can make a deal in 3 days. So that's the process. Just focus on the equity assessment first, though. That's how we make sure we don't get overwhelmed. Get your equity locked up, then we move on to the next step. But yeah, looks like you're in a great position. All right, so listen, everybody, if you enjoyed the show, I invite you to come back tomorrow. We're here Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. If you guys are like, listen, Deshone, it's no way we're covering too much. I'm not going to remember all of this. Feel free to grab my digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's normally $97. That's what I'm teaching out of. But you can have everything I teach in terms of new cars, below market used cars, below market leases. We didn't talk about high mileage drivers. Big deal. We didn't talk about bad credit. Big deal. All of these things we didn't talk about because, again, there are so many of you who are in different situations. You might think that's unique. It's not unique for us. It's just we haven't had a chance to talk about it because we talked about other things on the show today. That's all covered in my digital book. There's a plan for everybody. High mileage drivers, short-term drivers who are high mileage, who want to know, can I lease if I drive a lot? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, if you're buying your cars and you're a short-term high mileage driver, you typically always have 10 to 15, sometimes 20 grand negative equity, or you have to put huge down payments down. So again, from show to show, people ask different questions. We're not able to cover everything. But for those of you if you have my book, just comment book. I want to give everybody a shout out who has the book. I think I'm going to start doing that for the rest of every show. Just type book if you have it. And I look forward to getting your testimonials. I look forward to make sure you email me so I can read them on the screen. And for those of you who don't know about my book, it's normally $97. It's a digital book, but you can get your copy for $24 as part of our welcome offer. It's in my TikTok bio, it's in my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Why don't you include the link to the book in the comments? We can't do it on Instagram. That's the only thing. We can't do it on Instagram or TikTok. I got it pinned. You got to go to my bio, or you can go to deshonesbook.com. But yes, thank you, Gloria. Yes, thank you, E-Man. I see you on YouTube. Thank you. All right. And listen, this is right now. I want you guys to be very clear. You cannot listen to what's going on out here. You are going to, if you listen to what 99% of people are doing, you're going to think there's no deals out here. But as you can see from people like, Jen, graduated, got her used car, $24,000 used car. She bought it last year. She got $7,000 off of it. It was a low price car. So she ended up getting paying, it was $24,000. She ended up getting it for $14,000. Great price. Sheree, she's gotten 4 cars using our program. 4 cars, 2 pre-owned and 2 leases. She graduated again, turned in her 2022 CRV early, got a 2025 CRV. Look, $506 a month, end up paying $499 a month on a $40,000 car, 1.23% lease. Look, Ken, graduated, $585 a month, $49,000 vehicle, 1.17 lease, no money down. Like we can read these all day long. Look, Stormy, Just wanted to let you know that your package worked. $48,000 MSRP, no money down, $622 a month, 36 months. Look, Frank, I bought your book, use your system. Oh, this is the GB70. Oh, we talked, okay. This was a 2026. Bought your book, use your system, just closed my deal, 2026 GB70. He got the new GB70, one that's not even out yet. It's 2026. He's one of the first people with it. $58,000 vehicle. He got his for $815 a month. So think about that, EJ. Is EJ still on here? Think about that. He got a car. We were talking about the 2025 GB70 being $7 something a month. He got the 2026 GB70, and that one is won't have as aggressive as a lease program because it's a 2026, but he still was able to get it for hold on, what was his payment? He was still able to get it for $815 a month. And look, it's a $58,000 one. The one we were talking about was like 53. So this is it. And here's the thing. If you can't show your car deal, you pretty much have buyer's remorse already. There's a reason why when people pick up their cars using our system, the first thing they want to do is, man, let me take a picture and send this to Deshone, because you're proud of the deal. When you see people all online who show pictures of their cars, they're not proud of the deal. Hey, just got a new car. They don't want to talk about what they're paying for it. All we want to do is tell people what we're paying for our cars. That's all we want to do. We enjoy the cars, but we enjoy the deals just as much. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bring a friend. Thanks for watching. Everyone who has your book, make sure you send me your testimonials. I love reading stuff like that. All right. God bless you.